Hey guys, Supercross Productions here, and wow, 2018 has finally come to an end, and I say finally, it's not really as a bad thing, but this year was kind of hectic for me. A lot of things happened, mostly one after the other, that didn't really feel like it was going to end. A bunch of personal stuff that I won't really go into. I will say that we did move earlier this year, and it's the reason for me not being able to post videos as much as I'd like to. I have made a bunch of figures, as you can see here. There is about 65 in total. I didn't really organize them in any specific way. They're just randomly placed so you guys could see all the diversity of all of them. For the new year, 2019, I do plan to upload more, post a bunch of showcases. I do have a bunch of stuff planned, mostly for movies in the MCU, like Captain Marvel, Endgame, and Spider-Man Far From Home. I was not able to make it to Brick Fair this year because of the move, so that's something I do want to try and do this year. And I do have one showcase planned for the first week of January. Is of my Young Justice figures. They are completed, and you can sort of see them in here in this mix. And then there are some other figures that I haven't shown before, which you will see some of them in this video, which is, like I said in the title, it is a top 10 custom minifigures of 2018 that I have made. And one more thing I do want to mention before getting into the video is all the showcases and stuff that I plan to do will be linked in the About tab on my channel, so if you guys want to check that out. But also Bumblebee, I did see the movie last week. I did want to mention that, and I am still working on my Bumblebee custom minifigure, and I've got a base for a Charlie Watson minifigure. This hair is just a stand-in because I got one coming in, it just hasn't arrived yet. And so once that arrives, I'll finish her, or start on her. I do plan to have those done and showcased by mid-January. And that's really about it. And now we can go ahead and get into this video. Starting off here with number 10, we have the Season 1 suit of Green Arrow. This figure was very simplistic, and the reason I have it as one of the figures in my top 10 is I just really love all the 3D details and stuff I was able to do. How I got the removable quiver, which is the second quiver that I've done that's removable, but I still like it. The simplicity of this is why it looks good to me, because there's not too much going on, and I don't know, just that makes this one of my favorite figures, and that's why I have it as my a figure on my list for a top 10. Moving on to number 9 here is Captain America from the 2012 Avengers. This figure has a lot of nice paintwork. I really love how all the details on here turned out. I still haven't showcased him, but I made him in 2018, so I thought, you know, why not just show him in my top 10 video. The hair is chipping a bit. I do have to touch that up. A lot of the details I tried to paint on. I was going to go with some 3D elements, but that didn't happen, so I just have a few, like his belt is made of electrical tape and cardboard, the arms have electrical tape, and so do the boots. The shield is painted by me, but it's a very simplistic figure, and with all the paint work, but it does look really nice, and I just think it's a great figure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, what you think of this figure, since it is the first time I am showing it. Number 8 here, we have War Machine, and the reason for this figure making it onto the top 10 list out of all 65 figures that I have made is because I just love the neatness of the paintwork. This is probably one of the neatest figures I've done. All the metallic colors, like the silver, the red, all look really good to me, especially with the armor piece that I gave him. It's from the Batman vs Superman sets, I think, and then the sculpted arms, sculpted knee pads. All in all, just make this figure look really, really good. Sort of like an action figure, maybe, but so I guess now we can keep going. And number 7 here, we have the Wasp. This figure, I think, turned out really, really good. after it did take me a while to complete her, about a month or two, just to finish this one figure because of time and stuff that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. But all in all, the helmet turned out really, really good. I did try to do a translucent lens with some plastic, but that didn't turn out. I think the painted visor looks just as good. The sculpt work on the helmet just looks really clean, as well as the paint work. This is also, I think, one of the first female figures I sculpted the chest onto, which that's how I make all my figures now. And then the wrist bands are sculpted with electrical tape wrapped around them, I think, as well. And then the paint work on this figure, I think, contrasts really, really well with the dark blue. I just love the look of that. And then the backpack sculpted with a magnet and then clear plastic wings. And all in all, I think this figure holds up pretty well. At number 6 here, we have the Flash. I have showcased this figure twice in the past last year. I finally made one for myself this year, and I tried to go all out when I finally made mine, using some of my, using some new techniques and stuff for painting, and especially with the belt. It's one of the first electrical tape belts that I have made that I cut a design into it, and I think it turned out really well. It's got the sculpted belt buckle. The lightning bolts on the side of the cowl are both sculpted as well. I just really love how the paint work and everything turned out, and the suit in general is one of my favorites from the Flash show. I was kind of mad when they swapped this out for the suit in Season 5. The suit in Season 5 is kind of growing on me now, but Season 4 probably has to be the best suit in my opinion. But so now we can keep going with the rest of the figure. And number 5, we have Speedy, and this figure, it's a recent figure, but I just really like how all the 3D details came out without really sculpting. The only thing sculpted really was the chest, but you can't really see it. But it's got a bunch of electrical tape details, some cardboard details, some fabric details, some threading detail. All of that turned this into a really, really nice looking figure. It's got the fabric hood, a fabric jacket, electrical tape jacket, electrical tape on the arms, electrical tape for the straps and the quiver with the removable sword. It's got a cardboard knife holster, this little electrical tape arrow pouch with these little metal wires that I cut to represent the darts, and then all the threading stuff that you can see here. All of this detail makes this one of the nicest figures that I have done in 2018. And number 4 is Ruby Rose from the show Ruby. Now, this figure is a figure I made earlier this year. I actually did start it last year in 2017, finished it this year. It's one of the first figures that I started doing a lot of electrical tape detailing and stuff. But all the electrical tape detailing, the fabric skirt, the little sculpted elements, and the fabric detailing of the cape and stuff, and the sculpted hair is not really the reason for me choosing this figure. The reason that I did choose this figure as one of my top 10 is because the scythe has to be one of the best weapons that I've made, even though most of it is cardboard and some Lego elements, nothing sculpted on here. It just turned out looking like all one piece. Basically, the way I sealed it and painted it, the whole thing looks like it's plastic. You wouldn't even know it's cardboard. But it does have the feature to turn into a sniper rifle by interchanging the parts. I don't have those parts with me now. If you check my Ruby showcase earlier this year, you'll see the transformation. But that's really my reason for choosing Ruby as one of the figures in my list for top 10. Alright guys, so in the number 3 spot we have Iron Man Mark 50. And this figure had a lot of ups and downs. I redid this thing like 5 times till I got, I redid the sculpt till I got something that I liked. A recent addition is I did sculpt the neck there, made it a bit higher because before he looked a little short, fat, and stubby, and didn't look right to me. So I added the new addition of sculpting the neck and under the neck and connecting it to the rest of the sculpt, so you can't really tell that it was added too much. There are a few lines here and there, but really that's about it. And then paint work on this thing with the contrast of the silver, the gold, and the metallic blue on the red, to me all look really, really good. I didn't add any highlights to this figure like some other people did. I like the way it is. I tried to limit the black lines as well, because to me they look a little messy. But so that's really about it, and now we can move on to the second figure. In number 2, we have Commander Cody. I know I said this is the second figure. What I actually meant to say is figure number 2 on the list, but another figure hasn't been shown. Well, it has been shown, but I haven't showcased it. And this figure took me a while to make, and overall, it holds up really well, and I really like how all the sculpted armor, the 3D elements that I added look, all the weathering that I did to it made it looking like such a realistic looking figure. The helmet has some electrical tape detailing. I added some metal wires to it. I glued a little toothpick for the light. Then, as you can see, all the weathering I did. This was, I think, a Clone Wars 212 helmet, and I just took off all the print and then repainted a bunch of the details and stuff. And then he has a Clone Army Customs backpack that I cut off the neck brace and glued magnets. And you can basically see all the sculpted armor. The torso armor sculpted, the knee pads are sculpted, the shoulder pads are sculpted. The belt pouches are made out of cardboard. And then this little grenade thing is a little small, but it's made from a toothpick. And then he's got a Clone Army Customs rifle. And overall, this figure looks really good. And now I guess we can move on to the final figure. Alright guys, so moving on to the last figure, but first I have here 6 honorable mentions of figures that I thought were pretty good as well, but they didn't make the list, and I chose 6 because it was just really hard to decide on this list. But you will notice some of them haven't been shown before, but your thoughts and stuff are appreciated down in the comments. Let me know what you think of this list, if you disagree, or if you agree with the list, or any figures you think should have been on it that I didn't add here. But I guess now we can move on to the final figure. And number 1, we have the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. This figure took me 3 days to make, and it's throughout this whole year, everything I've made, this figure is still my number 1 favorite. All the detail that I put into it, the sculpt work turned out really nice, especially the Infinity Gauntlet. When I first started making this figure, I wanted to do something unique, something that other people hadn't done, like, because other people were doing LED, an LED Infinity Gauntlet, and I hadn't seen anybody do magnetic removable stones. So I decided to make his gauntlet just like in the movie, where each of these little gems is magnetic and they pop back on, so I can display him with any stone that I want. And then I'll give you guys one more look at the figure before I go ahead and wrap up this video. Alright guys, so that about wraps up this video. Really hope you guys liked it, and like I said, let me know what you guys think of my list. If you agree, disagree, any figures you think should have been added. I do have this Spider-Gwen figure that I did show as an honorable mention. It was a last-minute figure of 2018, and I do plan to showcase her. She's based off of Into the Spider-Verse. Still haven't been able to see the movie, don't know when I will. I don't know if I'll be making any more figures. Possibly a Miles Morales. That might be it for now. Still gonna work on my Bumblebee figures. Finish those by mid-January, like I said. But yes, that's really about it. And don't forget to leave a comment down below, like, share, and subscribe. And yes, so Happy New Year, guys.